Hi friends, this is Mani. I am the blogger behind getmoneyrich.com. Today I am going to push through a blog post which I have published some time back, and its topic was how a beginner can start investing money. So I am talking about investment for a beginner. So as a beginner, the person must first understand a critical thing about investment. What is that critical thing? The critical thing is the process of investing. If a beginner can visualize the investment process in totality, it will be much easier for the person to practice successful investment in long term. So before a beginner can actually start thinking about where to invest money, which are the more profitable investment areas, I think that it is much important for a beginner to understand the whole investment process. So in this article that I published some time back, I have tried to simplify the investment process so that even a beginner can understand it. And this YouTube video, I am going to explain that flowchart, that investment process flowchart that I have prepared. Let me show you the investment process flowchart and introduce you to the ingredients of this investment process. So the first ingredient of the investment process is goal setting. What we are doing here? We are answering here a question that what is the goal of investing. So the first ingredient is goal. Second ingredient is the risk analysis. Here in the risk analysis, we are also estimating our expected returns from the investment. The next step is vehicle selection, means which investment we want to select for our, which investment vehicle we want to select for our investment. So we have seen a goal, we have seen the risk and return analysis, we have seen the investment vehicle selection, and parallel to all this, we also have to do a cost analysis of our investment. And then when we are done with all these four steps, the next step is buying an investment. So you can see here very clearly the 5 ingredients of investment cycle is very clear. Goal setting, risk return analysis, investment vehicle selection, cost analysis, and after we do all of these 4, the 5th step is buying an investment. So before you buy an investment, these are the things that you have to do. Once you have bought an investment, what is the next thing we have to do? The next thing is you have to track your investment. Very essential ingredient. And what we are doing by tracking the investment? We are tracking that whether our expected rate of return has been achieved or not. What does it mean? See, in this step of risk return analysis, we have finalized a return, a suitable return for ourselves, for our investment. Here in tracking, what we are doing is we are observing whether our investment has already reached that level of expected return. So while tracking, we are observing the rate of return that our investments are giving at present. So what is the next step? The next step is, if suppose your investment is not giving the required rate of return, what you should do? Hold. Simply. Don't do anything. Don't get panicky. Just hold your investment. And if the expected return has reached, then what? Then you have to sell. And after selling, you have to, the another ingredient of investment process is, you have to evaluate if you have to reinvest or you are ready to consume the investment. So I will go into details about all of these steps, but let me summarize the investment process flowchart once more for you. Step 1, goal setting, risk return analysis, investment vehicle selection. Parallel to that, you do the cost analysis of your investment. Once you are done with all these 4 steps, buy the investment, track it, see if the expected returns are reached or not. If the expected returns are reached, go ahead and sell them, sell the holding. And once you sell, you do another screening, that if you have to reinvest your investment or you are ready to consume it. So once you buy an investment, you must be absolutely clear that this is the process that you are going to follow to complete the whole investment cycle. So let's see, get a more detailed view about the investment process. To get a better understanding of the investment process cycle, let's divide the whole flow into 2 parts. One part is all the steps that we have to do before we buy an investment, and then the steps that we have to take care after we have bought the investment. So what are the steps that we have to take care before we buy an investment? We have to set a goal. One example of goal setting is, I want to buy a car, a 5 lakh rupee car, after 3 years from today. So this becomes a goal, and you are investing money to generate enough funds to buy that car. So 5 lakh rupees after 3 years. This is what is your goal. Once you have set the goal, the second step is you have to do the risk return analysis. What is this? Suppose you want to buy a car after 3 years. What does it mean? It means you have a 3-year time in your hand, and when the time horizon is more than 1.5 year, the investor can afford to take risk, more risks. What I mean by more risks? More risk in terms of buying those investment vehicles which has capability to give high returns, but in short term their prices are very volatile and they may yield negative returns as well. So to sum it up, when a person has an investment time horizon of as long as 3 years, they can afford to take risks. In investments process, what is risk? Risk means when you decide to invest in equity. Investing in equity can give you high returns, but if you are not holding that equity long enough, the risk of loss is also very high. So basically this risk return analysis is a brainstorming that you have to do, that you have to first of all think that how much time horizon you have in your hand. Then you have to think internally within yourself, that are you somebody who is comfortable with taking a lot of risks or not. If you ask me, I am not somebody who will take a lot of risk. I can easily settle for a return close to 12-14%. So depending on the time horizon that you have in your hand, depending upon your personality, your risk profile, you decide a suitable rate of return for yourself. Once you have done this risk return analysis, the next step is you should know that which investment vehicle will give you that level of return. Let's take an example. Suppose you have decided that your expected rate of return is 12%. So, can you go ahead and buy a bank deposit, a fixed deposit? No, because a fixed deposit in India cannot give you 12% return. Similarly, if your expected return is 12%, should you go ahead and buy a small cap mutual fund? In long term, small cap mutual fund has historically given a return much higher than 12%. But here you have analyzed that for you a 12% return is more than enough. So neither you should invest in a bank deposit nor you are required to take the risk of investing in a small cap fund. You should be somewhere middle. What you can do? You can buy an index fund. An index fund in a 3-year time horizon can give you a 12% return. Historically, it is a historical data based on which I am saying this. So what you are trying to do here is to understand that which investment vehicle can give you your level of expected returns. And while you are taking care of the risk return analysis and investment vehicle selection, there is another step that you should do, which is called cost analysis of investment. Suppose, why this is important? Suppose you have decided that you want to buy a 5 lakh rupee car 3 years from now, and your expected rate of return is 12%. How much you should invest each month in a systematic investment plan, in a SIP of a mutual fund? This is a very important question to ask because this can make or break your investment decision. How? Let me show you. I have a small calculator in my blog. Just scroll down, go to this calculator and type your expected investment corpus, 5 lakh rupees. Okay. Your expected return was 12% and your time horizon was 3 years. Click the calculate button. Once you click, you will get a value here. This value tells you how much money you must invest each month to generate 5 lakh rupees after 3 years at 12% per annum. What is the answer? The answer is 11,700 rupees. Suppose your budget is only 10,000 rupees. You cannot afford 11,000 rupees. Then, even though you have done the risk return analysis, you have selected a perfect investment vehicle for yourself, but because you don't have funds, how will you invest the money? So, before one goes ahead and buys an investment vehicle, it is very, very important to take all these 4 steps into consideration. What are these 4 steps? goal setting, risk return analysis, investment vehicle selection, and cost analysis. Once you have done all these 4 steps and you are getting a green signal, go ahead and buy the investment. These are the steps that one must take care before buying an investment. Now let's look at the steps that one must take care after one has bought the investment. So what we have to do after we have bought the investment? The next step after buying the investment is tracking. If we are tracking closely, that will be more than enough. What we will track? We are tracking whether the expected rate of return has been yielding or not. In our example, we have considered an expected rate of return of 12%. Here we will track whether our investment is already yielding 12% or not. If it is not yielding 12% returns, then we will continue to hold and we will continue to track its performance. But if the investment return is either 12% or more than 12%, we will consider selling the holding. We will consider selling the investment. But there can be 2 conditions here. One is, though we have achieved the 12% return, but the investment goal is still not met. How it will happen? Let me explain. We had a goal of making 5 lakh rupees in 3 years at 12% per annum. But suppose while tracking you saw that after the end of 6th month itself your investment is yielding 12% return. What you should do? Because your investment is already yielding the necessary returns, you can consider selling your holdings. So when you will sell prematurely in 6 months, obviously your goal of 5 lakh rupees will not be met. So in this case, you should consider reinvesting your money back into another investment option and follow this process all over again. But if after selling your goal was to make 5 lakh rupees and after selling you found that you have already made 5 lakh rupees, then you are ready to consume your investment. So this is all about that investment process that you need to take care before buying an investment and after buying an investment. I hope I have given you some value addition on the concept of investment. I have written a blog post, a detailed blog post on this subject. If you are interested to know more about it, I will request you to reach this blog post from the link I have left in the description. If you have liked this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and also I will request you to please leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you for listening to my video. Thanks a lot. See you again soon.